A YouTube influencer.
Yeah. So Stuart, you've been asked how to pronounce that name that Manisha's just put up into the chat.
Bharat.
It's pretty close. It's all right.
How do you pronounce it?
Bharat.
Parrot.
PH, like the emphasis, you see. Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
You're welcome. Nice.
Oh, this has gone from NLP to being now a Hindi. Hindi, get a lot here. Okay, I think most people have joined. Eric couldn't stay today, so he's joining tomorrow. I think everybody else should be here. Welcome again, Ramesh.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much for having me today.
Sorry?
Thank you very much for having me here today.
For having you here today.
No, I never said that anything earlier.
You say that at the end of a party. You say, thank you, Mrs. So-and-so, for having me. You know, it's been a lovely time.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm presupposing that it is how it's going to be.
That it is, yes. You're kind of a little bit far away, Ramesh. Okay. I like the recommended bookcase behind you, though. That's very, very impressive. I'm just going to link into you because you introduced yourself yesterday. There may be one or two people didn't hear that, but I think that's fine. So I'm going to hand over to you and dip out, but I'll come back in before the end of the session.
Sure. Are you going to hand the hosting to me?
Oh, yes, I will. I've started recording. Where are you? I'm practicing this skill of being able to zoom in on the person who's speaking, like use my peripheral vision. I think it's good practice. So where are you? Carol, I'll do it. Yes, you're in charge now, Carolyn. Good luck with this lot.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll pop back in, and so that you can, I'm not going to do one of the kind of small group sessions, but I will leave the meeting open at the end after Ramesh and I and the controlling gang have gone, so that you can chat there. And I'll say some words about that before you go into that phase. But so I'll join you in about an hour and a quarter's time, something like that. Okay, so just scream, Ramesh, if they're too hard on you, and I'll listen while I'm in the garden. But enjoy. A very lovely group to be with, so enjoy your time. And Ramesh is a very special friend, and I know you're in very, very good hands with him. So, okay, over to you, Ramesh.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much. I just also want to check with you. Are you able to hear me loud and clear? Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks for the thumbs up. So, for those of you whom I have not met, or I'm saying hi for the first time, yes, Tracy, yes. So I was there yesterday, just before the meeting closed, and I introduced myself. So just a little bit about myself before I begin. So I have been in this space of teaching NLP now for almost 12 years, and all my 12 years has been with Sue Knight, and that has been, the journey has been a very, 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 very delightful one. In fact, starting from a teacher, today we are, it's family, friends and family, I would say. So my source of what do you call learning is this ocean of Sue Knight, I would say, who has been teaching NLP for almost now 30 plus years, I would say, yes. I know, in fact, I've come in like in the middle. Some of you know me and I've met some of you, but some of you are new. So I'm just wondering, like normally one of the elements.
Ramesh, sorry to interrupt. The sound is a bit echoey, and when we were speaking earlier, it was absolutely perfect. So there's
Okay.
something different.
Okay.
I don't.
I think it's the aircon.
Oh.
Okay, now how's it? Is it gone?
I think that's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Helen. Yes. Um, so, so I'm curious to ask you guys, like, how's your time coming about here? I think it's been a week you have been in this space, spending almost 60 to 90 minutes here with Sue. So how are you finding your time here? I know it's like, it can be a question which is very direct because we haven't met, we haven't yet connected. But I'm just curious. In fact, I was asking Carolyn sometime, like, how is it coming about? I've always been in this space with whenever Sue has been, but not this time. So I'm curious to ask you guys, and you're welcome to share how is it coming about for you. I was told this group is a very quiet group, by the way.
Can I share something, Ramesh?
I think Vikram lifted his hand. He lifted his hand first.
Yeah, I've written in the chat box. Anyway, it has been quite exploring. Myself, I've explored a lot of things about myself, and so I think communication and the language was one of the prime teachings we got here. So yeah,
Okay.
exploration is happening. Very good exploration is happening about self.
Okay, exploration about self. Okay, I'm going to come back to that, Vikram. Thanks for that. Akhil.
Hi, Ramesh. Great to hear from you. Great to meet you. So when last week I started the first session with Sue, like I was thinking of it more like revision. That would be revision for me. But one thing I was astounded by is that how less I'm applying NLP in my real life, whereas there are so many more opportunities for me to apply NLP in my real life. For example, I realized there are linguistic patterns that I can pick up from Akshaj, from Preeti, which are like completely getting deleted. So that realization itself, is doing me quite wonders right now. So I'm quite happy that I see a new level of application for myself for NLP in different areas of my life.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Yeah, welcome, Vana. You said hello. Yeah. Okay. Just borrowing from what Vikram said. In fact, I love some of the words, particularly if it's exploration, because I think my journey in NLP began that way, exploring, I would say. I didn't know. In fact, I always say this, I didn't come to an NLP training to become an NLP trainer. That happened by accident. And so exploration was I think one of the criteria for exploration to be curious, in a not knowing state, and open to feedback, which is one of the ways of learning NLP, I would say. So yeah. So the same question which I just put out, okay, how is it coming about, or where are you with your learning, can be asked differently as well. So just to let you know, this next 40 minutes, how I plan to go is, for sure, you're going to be using a lot of the breakout rooms, a couple of, maybe more, at least 3 or 4 times. So be prepared for that. And I'm going to be facilitating in a way where I'm inviting you that you go ahead and explore and find out, ask questions. I also want to check with you. Um, is clean question done? Clean language and clean question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Wonderful. So an opportunity for you to also, as you're choosing to engage with somebody or have conversation, to actually ask a couple of clean questions to see how it is leading to. And that's the best tool actually when you want to unpack and find out anything from anybody, I would say. So, of course, Carolyn is going to be helping me in terms of breaking out the room. And I know we're going straight forward to it. But before you go, there are two questions which I'm putting out. These are the questions you're going to be asking. So I believe, Carolyn, the group should be about 3 or 4.
It'll be 3s mainly. There might be the odd 4.
Okay. So, so hopefully 3 or 4, and one of you can ask, begin to share. The other can actually ask questions. I'm sure by now you would have come to know that by default, there's a lot of coaching in the model which Sue and I teach. So one way of doing that is by asking, by actually practicing having a hands-on clean language and clean question itself. So, so as you go into this group, there are 2 questions which I'm putting out, which you can ask the other person, and the other person can begin to answer. The first question is, maybe you can, instead of putting in a question, the person, the subject can begin to share, and the coach can ask questions. Like that, you can decide. So the subject can begin to share is, where am I? Okay, it's a broad question, but primarily, where am I? You have been here in now almost for a week learning NLP, but I'm putting it out in a much more broader way. Where am I, and what am I doing? That kind of a question, right? And the coach, the other person who can be a coach, who can ask questions, you can ask some clean questions, like in what way, that's like what, as they begin to share and so on. Yeah. So all the 3 of you are going to get an opportunity, but primarily you are having a conversation based on these 2 questions. The first question is, where am I? So you can begin to share is, okay, this is waiting here. Okay. Okay. I'll also give you a bit into this. This can be in any context. Sorry.
Sorry, that was my chair. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So it can be in any context. So I'll give you some context so that you can apply it in this context, which I'm asking you to. Yeah. So primarily when I say, okay, where am I? It could be, so for example, if you look around today in the world, a lot of stuff is happening, right? Particularly things which are all, I would say, not so good news, particularly when you talk about Corona or what's happening today in the last couple of days in America. Of course, there is a lot of bad news in the world. So if you take that kind of a space, which is the environment, so if I say, if I use a word called, the environment is highly polluted in that way, with a lot of things which are not in my hands, not in my control, right? How about your environment? The place where you are, okay? The place which is yours, your personal space. So where are you in that personal space? And what are you doing in that personal space of yours? Okay. Can you begin to explore those 2 questions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ramesh, if you ignore the invite to join a room, and Mumta and Kevin, if you want to join, that'd be great.
Sure.
Okay.
So I have a question, please. So we ask these questions, the coach would ask the question to the client, and then what?
So between you guys, decide who answers. So for as you
go
out,
and then what
will follow?
So what do you expect from us after we ask these questions?
Okay, so I would say, as you ask the question, the other person would answer the question, primarily to explore, okay, where am I in my larger space?
So my question, like, what are we assessing here? Like, is it the clean language or the filters, or like, what is it we are looking for? I know that when I ask a question, I'm expecting an answer, but because it's an activity or a task that you are asking now, my question is, what do you expect in the, what should we feedback back or?
Okay, so how do I call your name? Fatin?
Yes, Fatin.
Fatin. So is there something specifically you would like to observe? Like clean language?
The things we were taught earlier were the clean language and filters. Yeah.
So you could do that. But let's find out what I'm breaking down to smaller steps where you just have a conversation, a chat, and see what the other person is sharing, right? You have, in fact, that will be nice if you can actually learn to practice asking clean questions. And if you have the ability to pick up filters, nothing like that. That would be fantastic. But just to let you know, that is not the outcome. The outcome is, I'm just picking up from Vikram what he said, is exploring a particular model. I haven't said you what the model is, but I'm just putting out certain questions to see where we might arrive at. Okay?
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
We good to go?
Good to go? All the best. So where am I? What am I doing? All the best. Yeah.
Okay, you haven't accepted, Mumta?
If you want me to, then is Kevin there?
Let me see how many are in the room that you're.
I don't know where you. Hey, Ramesh.
Kevin has joined a room.
Okay.
So
whatever you asked me to.
It's either or. There were going to be 4 of you in the room, so.
So is there a room which is?
It's a room that's already got. It's got 3 people in it already. So it was Helen, Karen, and Vikram.
Okay.
So it would have been a room for 4. So it's fine. Let me just pause the recording.
Okay. I'm going to get my headphone because you said my voice is echoing. So I'm going to get my
it is. I don't seem to be able to pause the recording.
Won't be able to because she's doing the recording. It's on her system.
Okay. Let me just message Sue.
Might want to create another room. So. Okay, let me join the breakout room. Is that okay?
Yeah. Could you all mute yourselves, please? So that there's the background noise. Thank you.
So welcome back, if you're able to hear me. So that, how was that? So there were the first 2 questions primarily, where am I and what am I doing? And if I were to put the right words like, where am I in my larger space and what am I doing? So in this context, like I said, choose something which is current for you in your space, right? Whatever your space is, whatever your environment is, it could be your home, your office, a different place, but whatever you're experiencing in your current environment, in your current space, okay, that is what I would have expected that you explode in time. Yes. And what are you doing there is primarily like at the level of behavior. What are you doing functionally is something which you explored. Yeah. So just to let you know, this is going to go on for a while. I'm going to put up a set of 2 other questions, and you might get to see a set of 3 different people now as you go back with a different set of questions, but still taking the same conversation forward. So knowing that,
I'm sorry, could you make me host then so I can redo the breakout rooms?
oh, so sorry.
So I
Okay.
thought you were going to share, that was why I made you host.
Should I put the question and then make you host?
I'll put the questions in the chat.
Okay. Hang on. Sorry, guys. We're going to keep you wait. Yes. It's not opening. I need to exit the full screen.
If you hover next to me and then click more, then it's a drop down.
Yes, I've done that.
Good to go. Good.
Okay. So having asked those 2 questions, the next question is, for you to do something in any kind of a space, I presuppose you should have some kind of a skill. So if I ask you, for example, Helen, can you hear me? Yes, you're smiling. So I notice you actually having a cup of tea. I'm presupposing it is tea. So if I ask you, okay, this question, where are you and what are you doing? And you say, okay, here I am in a nice place having, what am I doing? I'm having a nice cup of tea. But if I ask you the next question is, okay, how are you doing what you're doing? Now, I'm just putting out this question. You need not answer, Helen, but just to put it in the context so that everybody understands. So wherever you are in your larger space, in your world, doing whatever you're doing currently, the next question which I want you to ask as a coach is, how are you doing what you're doing? Right? So if somebody says, okay, let's say, for example, Caroline is managing all of this stuff. So if I ask her, hey, Caroline, how are you doing? What are you doing? I'm sure it requires some kind of grooming or a skill or a talent which she has acquired. Maybe Helen also has acquired some kind of a skill to prepare the best tea which she's enjoying. The color looks really good. So similarly, the question which you can put out to the group out there is, okay, how are you doing what you're doing? Knowing that this is where you are in your life, this is where you're in your space, how are you doing what you're doing? And the next question which comes after this question is, what's important about what you do? It's a sort of a why question. I also recognize that, so if you happen to read the book NLP at Work, nowhere, excepting I think somewhere in just one page, you'll get the question why. It's like challenging you, like why are you doing what you're doing? That kind of a question. So I'm putting out those 2 questions, Caroline. The second. Okay, have you already done it, Caroline?
Yes,
so,
the rooms are ready to go as soon as you say.
And the questions are out in the chat box?
Questions are in the chat.
Okay, perfect. There's the chat.
Can I just ask something before we go?
Yeah, Vana.
Yes.
I wanted to ask is, what are we actually doing? Like having a cup of tea or being in our environment, or is it in our general life learning?
The second one sounds good to me, Vana.
Okay, because we went a bit deeper. Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes. It could be in your life. It could be currently in this space, whatever it is. You decide, whatever is important for you. But I say pick up something which is really important for you in this current space.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you back in 10 minutes. All the best. Okay, welcome back. Okay, welcome back, all of you. So, yes. So one more time, a breakout room with a different set of questions. I know I've been giving 2 questions and some of you are asking, okay, what's the objective of this and so on. Now the objective is just to explore. So Vikram, thanks for that word, by the way. So just to explore and find out and have conversation and see where you might arrive at. So you had the first 2 questions in terms of where you are, what are you doing in that space. The second set of questions was like, okay, knowing that I'm here and this is what I'm doing, what skills and talents am I demonstrating to do whatever I'm doing? And what's important about what I do, right? Having explored that, let's take it to the next level, where the next 2 questions Carolyn is posting also on the chat box is, as you are doing all that in your space with the skills which you have, with the knowing how important it is for whatever you're doing, the next question comes is, okay, what sense do I make of what sense? Okay, that's a more. What sense do I make of who I am as I am doing whatever I'm doing in my space with the current behaviors which I have, with the talents which I do, or which I possess, and knowing that this is important for me? What sense do I make of who I am? That's the next question. What sense do I make of who I am? And the last bit, if you love to answer, how being this way, knowing that this is who I am, how being this way, how am I contributing to the larger system, which is beyond self? Okay. Having made sense of who you are, you might want to share with your coach, okay, how being this way, you have been contributing or you are contributing to the larger system. Okay. Okay. So ready to go to the breakout rooms?
Can I just say that we struggled to get through the questions in the time allocated?
Okay.
Because we went off onto...
I've actually started the rooms. So.
Yes.
The answers would go.
So you have 10 minutes, take 3 minutes each, I would say. Time yourself for 3 minutes. Yeah.
Right, okay. So we go through all those questions 3 minutes each for all 4 people.
Not all the questions, just the last 2.
Just do what you can do for these last 2.
Right, okay. And if we don't get through them, that's okay.
That's absolutely okay.
Okay, thank you.
Muhammad Abdullah is here.
Have you just joined us, Mohammed? Mohammed?
Muhammad? Oh, he's gone. I would say it has been a whole lot of learning. When I began with the online stuff, when I did my first workshop, must be about now close to 5-6 weeks ago. Helen, come back.
Hi.
Come back. Hi. You're the first one to come back.
Yeah.
Is there some work happening behind your window?
Yes, there is. Yes, it's very annoying because there are builders here and the scaffolding and everything else. And anyway, it'll be gone next week.
Okay. So where are you? In UK somewhere?
No, I'm in Ireland. I'm in the
Ireland.
northwest coast of Ireland. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So it's we're having exceptionally warm weather, which is very, very rare. Yeah, so it's blissed me totally. I lived in the UK for 25 years, so I just came back to Ireland this year, or last year actually. So this is bliss. I feel like I'm on a permanent holiday.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yes.
Quite tempting for me to make a visit there.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Yeah.
We're back.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you.
So if you want, you can unmute yourself. But yeah, I'm asking. So before I ask Carolyn to put the card out, like I'm curious to ask you guys, how was that experience of having conversations and finding out about whatever you found out? So as a subject who was sharing all that at where you are, what you're doing, how you're doing, what's important about what you do, making sense of self. How was it for you sharing?
Sorry, we can answer here or in the chat box?
Please answer here, Mohammed.
Sure. I think it's like strengthening your inner decision to change and apply your ideas to action.
Yes, absolutely. You use two words, which particularly about change. If I take the word, like how when we decide to change, we can use these questions. And in a moment, I'll be sharing how we can do that. Yes.
Sorry about that then.
About what?
Sorry about telling them before you, I mean.
Oh, that's fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I would like to Hi, Lakshmi.
Hi, Ramesh.
Hi. Lakshmi, is this something to do with your sound system?
Okay, I'm not too sure. Is it better now?
Don't worry, it's always like that.
You can reduce your volume and check.
Okay, yeah, Lakshmi, go ahead.
Is it better now?
Kind of.
Actually, just
okay, I'll figure it out today. I just realized that today, so I'm sorry. I'll figure it out today.
Yes.
So the self-awareness while we are answering can I put it in the chat box?
No, go ahead and finish it.
Yeah, the self-awareness while we are speaking and trying to make sense of who I am at this point was profound, and it really triggered some thoughts where which will guide you to explore new avenues.
Okay. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Vikram. Yes, Vikram.
Yeah, a quite interesting session. Being on both sides of being questioned and questioning was interesting. While answering also, there were many things which I got answers about actually what I was thinking of. Finding the right words of what you're thinking. So you're sure of certain things what you're thinking of, but you can't word it or you can't put it in a proper meaning of it. So that was a good revelation. So yeah, that was good. And hearing certain answers about different perspective of how a person looks at things, that also was good for learning for me.
Okay.
That, okay, this is the way the thinking of this also can be thought in this way.
Yes.
Can be taken in this way. So that was good. So it helped me in both the ways.
Okay. So just assimilating all whatever you said, Vikram, Mohammed, and Lakshmi. I'll just show you something in terms of and answering some of the people who were here who asked me some questions in the beginning as to what's all about it. So I'm sharing the screen here, and so this is a card over here which you can see which says logical levels of change, specifically neurological levels of change, like Abdullah you mentioned. So I just brought in the card now. Earlier you had a conversation just trying to make sense of your direction in terms of what you're doing, where you are, what skills are you drawing from, what's important about whatever you're doing, which is primarily at the level of beliefs and values. What sense do you make of yourself is like, okay, who am I? Not who am I in the sense of like, I know there are a lot of Indians here. When the moment we put who am I, it can be at the spiritual. No, it can be even at the level of what you currently are, who you currently are, I would say. And of course, what is the beyond self? So if you look at the card, within the box is in your control, and beyond that is out the outer space, the larger space. Okay, how is that you're contributing to the larger system? Yeah. So what's your larger purpose in life, I would say. So this model, as you see, it's called the logical levels of change, is a card which you can use in for any kind of primarily for change, primarily to find out. So you can use it for like the present scenario. Okay, where am I? What am I doing? Even if you decide to say plan out something, okay, how I'm planning out for my coming days. You can compare, okay, where am I? What's the environment like? What is that I need to do in my environment so that I can have that, right? So for example, let's say in the logical level. So one of the thing is, if you heard of the word called congruent or congruency, wherever you are in your life today, I would say, is because this is how you are. This is how you are at all the levels, right? So if something is not working for you, you might want to change levels. You might want to explore and change levels, right? So for example, if you had an outcome, let's say you wanted to become a manager, you got promoted and you said, okay, head, what you call country head Singapore, and you have to move to Singapore, okay? And you come back home and tell your wife or your, hey, you know what, darling, I've got promoted. I'm going to go to country head. I'm going to go to Singapore and so on. And your wife says, hey, no, I don't think it's the right time because you know what, I'm pregnant, I'm carrying. This is the news that I wanted to share. So something which you are aspiring as an outcome, and when you come back home in your environment, you found there is a different kind of a news. So the decision which your aspiration of wanting to move to Singapore as a country head, how do you align your needs in such a way that both is met? Either you go to Singapore or so. If you are getting it, then somewhere all the levels are aligned. If you aren't, then it's an opportunity for you to explore, work, and see, I would say. So it can be at any level for that matter. It could be at the level of behavior. So if currently some of the results which you're not getting, ask yourself, okay, am I not getting it because of my current behavior, or is it something to do with the level of skills and so on? Anyway, I think this is something which we can explore even at a much more larger context. But questions, any question which you have is welcome, I would say. You can take a screenshot of this. You can take a screenshot of this, or I'm sure at some point Carolyn will be sending this to you as well.
Yeah, I'll add it to the Google Groups.
Yeah, so Ramesh, I have a question, please. This is Fatin again. So my question is, so you said the triangle and where I am now. So if I'm in this triangle, so where am I now and where I aspire to be? Where can I put this in this neurological levels of change?
So I would say, instead of asking that question where I aspire to be, do you know where do you aspire to be? If I ask you this, Fatin, would you like to share that?
Where do I aspire to be in, for example, in what I do in life coaching? I want to be a better and a better coach.
So when you say a better coach, at what level is that in the logical level? Is it at the level of behavior or a skill or a belief or a value, or at the level of identity? So what is that you'd like to work on something which will take you to that better and better coach? So currently
So
you
is
might have
this
a,
in chronological order? Like I need to first to fix the environment to go to the behavior, or
no,
wherever I am on this ladder?
the second one. It is not chronological. You can be from top to bottom, from bottom to top, from side to top. You can pick up any. There is no order for it.
And what's usually, for example, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, usually the one that has the highest volume, let's say in visual, would be the strongest. So
Faten, I'm going to pause you and I'm going to come back to the question which you asked and I answered. What do you think about the answer which I gave?
and that is anywhere?
Yes,
It
that is
made me a
one.
bit more confused.
So coming back to your specific question, you said you want to be a better and better coach.
Yes. So in competencies and skills, because my identity as a coach, I know it. I know my life purpose. I know why what's my calling. So maybe to be a better coach is to keep on working on my skills and learning NLP and learning positive psychology, and keep on learning. Maybe that's the only thing I can see that I need to.
Yes, yes. So the more clearer you are about what is that you want to learn. So if I use the word competence, if you want to work on enhancing your competence, then the chances are you can become a better and better coach. There's also another thinking here, Fatin. When you are, if you say, let me. I think it's there. Can we go down in the card, Caroline? Just move the screen up. Yes. So if you see what is mentioned here, if what you're doing isn't working, do something different, change levels, right? So let's say if the issue, if the issue is at the level of skill, okay, you might want to look one level up. So what's important about you being a better and better coach? Or it could be at the level of beliefs and values, or much more larger. Skills, any day you can keep acquiring them, but it could be something much more bigger for you to be that coach which you want to be. So that's one way of exploring, I would say. You can compare and contrast also. It's like this, what is that I need to do so that I can become that coach? Is it at the level of skills, or is it at the level of beliefs, or is it at the level of an identity? Or it can be even at the level of an environment. Hey, my current environment is not supporting me to be that coach which I want to be. Should I change my environment? Go ahead and change your environment. Just to let you know, that's what a lot of people in the corporate world do. They don't like their boss, they don't like the environment, they change companies. What they don't change is one level up is the behavior. So primary in line with your outcome, you can choose to explore it, I would say.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Caroline, how much time do we have? You're mute.
We're at 13 minutes past, so Sue will be joining any minute.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to stop sharing the screen?
Yes, maybe if people have it, yes.
So everyone can see.
Yes. So Vijay, this is to you specifically because you're working on your modeling project, and you are primarily using the logical levels to study model.
Correct.
I'm curious to ask you, how was this experience?
Excellent. In a way that I got a first-hand experience of using that on the people whom I don't know. Right here, I'm using it on the people whom I already know. Yeah. So to some extent, I was biased. Let me acknowledge it, because the moment you started, I saw it coming. So maybe that has a little bit taken away that the curiosity or to test is as it is. So I explored with my understanding how the people's environments are, behaviors are, and try to understand what level they are currently. If they are saying something, at what level they are saying. Right? So mostly I found people at a belief and capability level. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being honest, and thank you for just sharing whatever you're sharing there. I really appreciate that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we are done for now, unless you have some specific question. But thank you for all those people who asked me questions. I really loved it. So I can also say this. This is one particular model. I remember my first NLP training. I was so curious in terms of what is it I really want? What is it I really want? What is it I really want? And I used to look out for opportunities to go and work in small groups, especially with this model called the logical levels of change, just to find out what is that I really wanted, where am I, what am I doing, and so on. I have found it has made a huge difference to me, and that's my wish for you guys. I know it's early days and you're exploring, you're finding out. All the best to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ramesh.
Welcome, Sue. Thank you very much for that.
I agree with you. It's a very powerful model which has got a lot of layers to it in every sense of the word. So again, it's something that we're going to be building on as we go forward. We'll use it in different contexts. And I think as we do that in different techniques, for example, you begin to see different ways of actually using that. But initially, as with all of these things, it's applied to self, first of all. It's a way of exploring where you're at and your own kind of alignment with self, so to speak. So, and I think you had to switch the air conditioning off, did you, Ramesh, during that for the sound? So you're probably boiling in Chennai.
Yes, yes, sticky.
It was either noise or sweat, I guess. So we opted for sweat. So,
anyone here from Chennai other than Mamta? Just Mamta. Okay, yeah. Maybe just Mamta, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you've got we've got lots of intense weather all over India at the moment.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say something, Sue, to all of them. To all of you over here, I would like to say this. It's like I came in, you chose to accept me, listen to me, agreed to do whatever I said. I think you guys are all, what do you say, the attitude for learning is just to accept, embrace, and go on to explore. So that is what all of you have demonstrated. So thank you for giving me the space to come in, to ask you questions, to say certain things to you, to all of you in that way. And I acknowledge that. Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you, Ramesh. I think to step into a group, that's established, that's kind of connected already, it's an interesting challenge to do that. There's already a dynamic, and it's a challenge for a group to know how to accept people into a group as well. I mean, I think that's something that is very important when we do live trainings, is how people then allow others to join in with that experience that they're having. And that's a very valuable learning, is how do we're just talking about that in the village here. I actually was out for lunch today and just talking about how very kind of enclosed the village is in terms of its culture, and how are we in terms of letting people into that. So it's a whole learning in that process. And so thank you for being willing to embrace that. Okay, so I'm going to, we will be, we meaning Ramesh, Carolyn, Kevin, Mamta and I, will be leaving the meeting so that you can continue with an informal chat if you choose to. I won't be doing a small group chat today, but I will do one tomorrow, and I've already sold some tickets for that. So if anybody, I think there might be 2 places left. If you wish to join with that, let me know. And when you go into the informal chat now, it's an opportunity to learn about the process in that. So, there'll inevitably be some people who kind of can contribute more than others. Some people who might find it difficult to contribute to that. So learning how to handle that, it's good to go into these situations, even though they're informal, with a desired state, and then be exploring how do you influence that if it's not going the way you wish. I mean, this is something we will do during the program, but you could do some of this now if you wish to. You could take some time to give each other some feedback, for example, and say, actually, I find that you're speaking quite a lot. Maybe you could sort of da-da-da. So how do you influence what you want for yourself? And it's a great opportunity to practice that so that you're not reliant on other people, making the right environment for you. So just be aware. And I know it can be slightly tricky with Zoom, in the sense of you overspeak and somebody stops, it stops the sound. But that happens in real life anyway. It happens in conversations. In a sense, it's kind of more exaggerated, I think, in this situation. So just think about that. Think about your experience in that informal chat, how you wish it to be, so here's a chance to apply what Ramesh has been teaching you. If, for example, you're in the situation you think, this isn't going the way I'd wish it to go, one of the principles is change levels. So instead of, for example, just contributing or not contributing or whatever, moving the level up to the next level would be, for example, to address how it's taking place. So you can shift to that and go, well, let's just talk about how this is happening, whether this is actually working in the way that we would wish it to work. So changing levels is a great way to influence the situation that you're in. You can go up the levels and go, explore the purpose of, why you're having that chat together. So if it's not working, change levels, and you can just be exploring maybe how that works for you. Okay, so the only other thing I think I mentioned to you is that there won't be a session on Thursday, which I'd said a long time ago, but thank you, Ben, you reminded me about that. So day off on Thursday. But I will see you tomorrow, and I'll open the session again tomorrow. Any immediate burning questions from anybody before I go, and before Carolyn and Ramesh and Mamta? Oh, and Shri couldn't be with us today because he's had power cuts and so on. So, and Frederick couldn't be with us today. So yes, Karen.
Hi Sue and Ramesh, thank you for that session today. I just had more of a practical question on how you would start using the pyramid with a client. Do you just pick up on their language and you assess where they're at?
Well, I suggest you start to explore that in the chat subsequently. It kind of would open up the whole topic again at this point. So
okay, yeah.
Simpler questions. I can only handle simple questions. Somebody mowing the grass, somebody picking cherries off the tree. I was thinking of you, Kevin, cherry. I've got cherries abundance here. Yeah, so I think that might just go into the whole topic again, which we can do at some point, but maybe not now, Karen.
There's someone in the chat afterwards that will be able to answer that question.
I'll presuppose there is. Okay. It's amazing how they'll pop out the woodwork then.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Having shut down one question, it's probably unlikely that anybody else is going to ask me a question at that point. Okay. Missed you today. I found I couldn't quite, I was thinking, I could have this time off, but I really was thinking about you. So it was a different experience than one I expected. And I look forward to being with you tomorrow. Okay, so see you then. I'm here on email if any of you need anything critically. So
thank you, Sue. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Mamta.
Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Ramesh.
Bye. Bye. Bye.